Acapulco. This is the latest series to come to us from Apple TV, a streaming service that I like. I really like Apple. I think they make a lot of great stuff that's very fun, very engaging. Some misses, of course, but Acapulco is something I genuinely enjoyed. I think with time, I don't know if right off the bat, but with time, this could be considered a classic. And I say that because it has all the machinations of something special, but sometimes it's just very, downplayed, or it's very easy, which I think is fine, Sometimes you have to take those easy opportunities, especially with a show like this where we're certainly telling a certain type of story and it has a certain type of trope and aesthetic to it. I think that's fine. And I honestly considered this to be on the same level as something like Ted Lasso, just in terms of like the positivity it exudes, because sure, there's some hardcore moments, but it's positive, it's fun, it's supposed to be lighthearted and enjoyable. So the story is, this wealthy man is trying to tell his nephew the story of his life and how he came to his treasures, and because of that, we travel back to the year of the 1980s. That decade that everyone loves to go back to just because it's so glitz and glamoury and sparkly and pink. And he's like, I'm a young boy, I'm just, looking to support my family, and I'm working at a hotel for, the swanky people that come to Mexico, and I'm just looking to, kiss a nice girl who's dating a rich boy, hang out with my best friend, support my mom and sister, just have an overall good life. And it's just cute, it's not over the top. It's just quiet and fun, and it's just nice. This kid's just upbeat and positive, which is very cool to see, because sometimes, you have a show like this, it can get very downplayed or just formulaic in terms of the character or just how easy it is. But I love this kid's upbeat personality. Maximo is just so excited and happy. He looks at the goodness in everybody and tries to be the best. Sometimes he gets steered in the wrong direction, but overall he does the right thing. It's very cool to see that, and it's very positive. And I like this kid a lot. Whoever is playing Maximo, I didn't remember his name when I was recording this, but he's great. He's just happy and charming, and you just like him and you adore him. He's just this adorable little guy, just enjoying his time at this resort because it's fun to him. He likes helping people. He likes being seen by people. He's just enjoying his time working here, and it's really cool to see. Sometimes the story does get obvious. The kind of will they, won't they triangle where this girl that works at the resort with him, he likes her, she's dating the rich kid whose mother owns the resort, and it's just kind of that tension. It's yeah, okay. His best friend's just kind of trying to steer him in the right direction while still doing his own fun thing. It's okay. And that kind of stuff, it's if it was a lesser show, it would just be so boring. You're oh, of course, we know they're going to get together, or we know this is going to happen here. But the chemistry is so believable, and the actors just are looking like they're having so much fun that you just love it and you enjoy it. I think that's a really cool thing to see, especially in a show like this where it could just be so boring. It's I love the relationships. I just love seeing these characters have fun and interact and just look like they're enjoying themselves. It's really positive to see that. I also like the way it knows that it's in Mexico, so it doesn't just standardly speak English all the time. It switches between the two. When they're on the resort, they are speaking English because a lot of, rich white people come to this resort, which I think is fine. Again, if they were speaking English when they weren't at the resort, it would bother me, but they speak Spanish when they're just walking through the city and just at home, which I think is really cool because that's accurate. That's very realistic to the 80s and now. It's just why would we put on that accent or that fixation when we're at home when that's our job to speak like this? I think that's really cool. And just add another layer of stuff I like to this. There's a side story going on of the mother and the sister of Maximo here, which they're very fun characters. The mother is very interesting to me just because she's just so, old school, traditional, just I don't want to do anything. I'm just going to, do what I can here. I don't need to fall in love again. I don't need to do any of that. I'll just stick here in my lane and do this. So I'm not going to wear glasses because I don't need them, but you do need them. And the sister's a little bit more rebellious, smoking pot, just hiding things from the mother. Very fun character, and the evolution of her story is very cool to see because it's very believable and very interesting. It's just a fun show, and it looks really nice. The cinematography is very standard for a show like this, but the colors are great too. There's a lot of pink, which I guess is kind of just better than the usual tint that it gives to shows set in Mexico, where it's that, that matted beige color. The fact that the whole resort's just bright, sparkly, neon, bright colors, I think that's kind of cool. It's just definitely different, and I think that's kind of interesting to see. It's just a really enjoyable time, and I think a lot of people might skip over this one just because it's not like, it doesn't stand out as something like unique, but it's like every character is fun and interesting. They have developed personalities. There are some great jokes in here. It's just very cute, and you're going to have a smile on your face most of the time watching this because everybody's just having fun and looking cool. Like, it's just a nice, quiet show about having a good time, hanging out with your friend at a hotel where you're getting paid to, do some hijinks, help out your guests. It's kind of like if you mix like The Love Boat with what's like a more modern thing you can mix this with, like kind of like a coming of age Love Boat kind of thing, but it's like, set on a resort in Mexico, fantasy island, I guess, but not like, that where it's like, magic and doing all these weird stuff. It's just like fun people in love, and it's kind of cool. It's enjoyable. And I really just like the way it just takes itself that seriously, where it's like, yeah, we know what we're doing. We're just going to have fun here. I do like the kind of like flashback, kind of a Princess Bride style, where we see in the future, like, Maximo's talking to his nephew. It could get annoying, but I think they do it enough where I'm like, yeah, you'd buy this story. And it's like, oh, if this is kind of boring, the kid doesn't want to hear it. Or he's like, no, like, how did that really happen? Why would that be like that too? That stuff's really funny. I also like how this kid in the present day, because he's like, what, I think 14, they say? He's looking back on the 80s like they were the olden times. I'm like, yeah, dude, I get that. Like, I'm born in the 90s. I kind of know that world a little bit, but I'd understand how somebody who's born like, 2007 would look back on the 80s as like the distant past, because that is just kind of accurate. And I think that was a really funny thing to see, and it was just really cool. So Acapulco has great characters. It has great fun. The charm is there. The story is interesting. The characters are just great. Everything about this is just special and unique. And it could be boring, but it's not. It just looks cool. It sounds cool. The music is great. The aesthetic is great. I recommend giving it a watch because it's just different enough where you're going to know the beats, but it's cool, charming characters that you like. So Acapulco Season 1, and I don't know if we're getting a Season 2. I hope we do. I am going to give a 7 out of 10. Now, thank you guys for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.